Yeah, I knew I shouldn't have thrown that cigarette out the window. Now I'm going to be in big trouble. Ugh. Better get to the test facility and swap vehicles before somebody recognizes me. Okay, just for your information, I didn't really start that fire. Just my idea of a sick sense of humor. But you have to explain these things because there's always 1 out of 1,000 out there who has no sense of humor and takes everything literally. And that's how the stories start. So after that disclaimer, let's start this action-packed video. We're at our garage and test facility. Let's see what we're rolling out today. I hear they had a lot of trouble getting it in this small garage door. Must be something big. Yeah, it's big and all right. A 2020 Ram 1500 with 3 features you might be interested in. Number 1, it has the all-new Eco Diesel we've all been waiting for. We'll take a closer look at that in a minute. In addition to the diesel option, I'm told it has every other option, which explains this tidy little price tag of $75,000 plus. That's not a misprint. The Ram that starts at $27,000 climbing to $75,000, the price of a small condo. For the record, this is the Ram 1500 Limited Crew Cab 4x4. I'm going to do a quick scroll down so you can read all the goodies that are on here. Here are the standard items. Now we get to the options and the price. More stuff, ka-ching, ka-ching. And that's how we get to $75,000. For those who care, this is actually assembled in the USA with a small amount of foreign parts. And very briefly, let's talk about the black paint. Yes, it does look good, especially on limousines, but there's a disadvantage if you live in hot climates, and we'll show you why in just a second here. It's around 10:30 in the morning, and it's a cool 97 degrees outside. I've got my temperature gun here, and I'm going to put on the tailgate of this white Ram. 125 degrees on the paint. Now on our black beauty here, 153 degrees. And with this black interior, the vehicle's only been sitting for 5 minutes. These seats are 128 degrees. And the side panels running 117 to 120 degrees. So guys, it's like this. Black is a nice looking color. Well, it's not really a color, it's a shade, but summer's coming up. Unless you live in Alaska, I'd stay away from black paint or any other dark color. Just a tip from me to you. Okay, getting back to the truck itself, let's look at some of the fancy features we're paying for on the option sheet. Starting with this dual tailgate. Yes, it does lower like a standard tailgate, but it has another feature that's pretty cool. It opens from the side with a 60-40 split. Makes it easier to haul in heavy loads on that bed, which has a maximum capacity of around 2,000 pounds, I'm told. Very nice feature to have. It costs around $995 extra. If you haul a lot of stuff, definitely worth it. Another useful option, locking compartments on the side panels. Also can be used as an ice chest because it has drain holes, and you have the high voltage plug-in for your power tools. Locks up quite well for securing the gear. A nice feature, however, one disadvantage. By going to the side locking compartments, your bed width is reduced to 4 feet. But that's advantage or disadvantage, is up to you. If you get the monster cab, the rear seats do fold up for lots of cargo carrying capacity. On the upgraded Ram trucks, you get this giant 10x6 info screen that does just about everything. As a rule, I cannot stand these things. I'm the type of guy who likes simple knobs. However, in spite of all the functions that you have to choose from, and there are a lot, it is pretty easy to use. Someone did a very good job of designing this, and I really don't have any complaints. I also like the rotary shift knob. Doesn't take up any room. You have your 4x4, 2x4, 4x4 street, all at a finger touch. Okay, let's cut to the chase and go straight to the diesel engine. That's probably why you're watching this video. Doesn't take much room under there, does it? If you're interested in horsepower, this isn't going to deliver in that area. The 5.7 liter V8 comes in the Ram. It puts out 395. The base V6 puts out 305, and this little diesel only 260 horsepower. When it comes to torque output, which is the ability to pull things, it's a totally different story. The V6 puts out 269 pounds-feet of torque, the V8 410, and this little diesel a whopping 480 at a low 1600 RPM. When it comes to maximum towability, both engines, the V8 and the diesel, run around 12,000 pounds, but with this much torque, it's a lot less strain on this engine than the V8. And better fuel economy too. The V8 is rated at 19 miles to the gallon overall, and the diesel 24 miles to the gallon overall, with 21 and 29 being a spread. By the way, last week we drove a 2020 Jeep Wrangler with a version of this diesel engine. We have a link for that video coming up at the end of this video if you want to see that. If you like even bigger trucks, we also drove the Ram 3500 diesel. That was even more money to spend. We have a link for that video as well. Just for your information, since this truck was delivered, it's got 1,855 miles on it in mixed commuting highway 4x4, averaging 22.8 mpg. Not bad for a monster-sized truck. We're going to go to the other mileage computer, reset everything to 0. We're going to shoot for 500 to 700 miles, do some highway driving as well, to get the maximum fuel economy output. So don't go away. I also noticed with the full tank, it claims a range of 735 miles. Nice if you can get it. And since the last setting, it was getting 24.2 mpg. So question of the day, how much does this diesel cost over the V6 or V8? Well, if you get the 5.7 V8, it's $2,000 over the V6. Get the diesel, it's $3,000 more. I think $49,995, $99, you know how that goes. So will the fuel economy savings pay for the diesel in the long run? I did the math. It takes around 100,000 miles, but you really shouldn't be buying this engine for fuel economy. Let's face it, if you can afford 75 grand for a truck, you're not worried about fuel economy, it's about performance. And we're going to test this out and see just how much performance it has. As a rule, the idea that a truck with only 260 horsepower could pull 12,000 pounds and accelerate as well as the 5.7 Hemi V8, a lot of people will laugh at you, but with this much torque, I can tell you it's pretty much true. You really feel it in the seat of your pants when you push the gas pedal down. Oh, did I say gas? The diesel pedal, I'm sorry. I'm corrected. You're not going to burn any rubber. You can definitely feel the torque. Brake pedal's a little spongy on Rams, but they still stop pretty good. 0 to 60 times don't really mean anything on a truck, but just in case you're curious, get your stopwatch out. Evaluating the ride quality on a pickup truck is kind of tricky because you have so many variations. The short bed, long bed, double cab, extended cab, big tires, 4x4, 2x4. You can get 15 different Rams, get 15 different results. On the other hand, the Ram has a reputation for being one of the smoothest riding trucks on the road, and it's true. If you order the optional air suspension, which this truck has, here's one of the controls for it, it rides even smoother. So let's take some speed bumps at 20 miles per hour and demonstrate. Here comes number 1. Didn't feel a thing. Number 2. This is actually smoother than many luxury cars I've driven lately. Here comes the nasty one. Hang on for your life. Jumped a bit, but didn't feel a thing. Very cushy. But that's what we're paying for. I never use the speed bump because this particular one is treacherous on purpose, but let's give it a go. Heard it, but didn't really feel anything. Again, very cushy. It's dark enough. Let's take these headlights out and see what they do. Here we have the lights on the building 100 feet away, low beam. Very bright, good widespread. Height, okay, go to high beam. Pretty potent in the middle. As you can see, that big 10-inch infotainment screen lights up pretty good at night, just like a Christmas tree. And we have a lot of camera choices. Here we have the brights on the building 300 feet away. Good widespread, lots of illumination, good height. Excellent. Go to low beam. No problem reaching out. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give the headlights a 10. No problem at all. By the way, the power steering is a bit too light and has absolutely no feel or feedback, but the response is quick enough, so I don't think many truck drivers will complain. We're going to take a highway trip cruising around 75 miles per hour. Approximately 100 to 125 miles. Reset the smallest computer to 0. Should be interesting to see if we get the 29 mpg claimed. Unlikely, but you never know. If you do a lot of highway driving, it's pretty hard to beat this Ram pickup truck. First of all, you have the high driving position. Of course, you get that with any truck. But what's more important, you have one of the smoothest suspensions around. It's like riding on a cloud. Very, very comfortable. Very low wind noise. I'm very surprised. Toss in this torque of the diesel engine, and you just can't beat it. This particular trip's just going to be over 100 miles, but if I had to go from New York to Los Angeles, I would have no problem doing it in this rig. It'd be a very pleasant trip. By the way, if you're hearing a lot of wind noise on your speaker, it has to do more with my cheap camera and cheap microphone than reality. It's pretty quiet in here. Just in case you're interested, these are not clouds we have in front of us. It's actually smoke from a forest fire. Way over there, been burning for about a week. It's around 30 miles away. I can smell the smoke all the way over here. If we get a chance, we'll go over later on, take a look. We're coming to the end of the line here. We'll pull over and see what the fuel economy reading is. Well, here you go, 22.1 mpg. I was expecting a bit more, but then again, we were traveling uphill a couple thousand feet in elevation. Not bad for a big monster truck. And I knew I shouldn't have thrown that cigarette butt out the window. Now look what happened. I guess I better hightail it out of here and go down to the test facility and switch vehicles. Don't go away. Lots of action coming up. In 28 miles of heavy city driving, we've been getting 20.6. Time to reset it and do another highway trip. Coming to the end of another trip, we'll pull over, see what the fuel economy reading is. Hopefully better. Well, we got 22 mpg going to and 25 mpg coming back. Add the figures, divide by 2. That should give you a rough idea of what you're going to get on freeway cruising. Not bad, really, for a giant truck. We're going to take a third fuel economy test, climbing from 1,500 feet to 6,000 feet. To see how this engine performs under stress. I'm really impressed with the way this motor performs when climbing steep grades. It's not even breathing hard. Another advantage of this diesel is how smooth and quiet it is. Can't hear anything under the hood. A big improvement over diesels that were made several decades ago. No doubt about that. End of the trip, we'll pull over, see what the fuel economy reading is. That was a very steep climb. 21.1 mpg is pretty reasonable considering. I don't think we'd be doing that good on the gasoline V8. In fact, I've done it before, we wouldn't. I'm not complaining. For the rest of this video, we're going to take this on some dirt roads and off-roading. Might get some fuel economy readings off that if there's something impressive. Then we'll wrap up the video. And another disadvantage of having black paint on an off-road truck, gets dirty in a hurry. This air suspension is doing a great job of absorbing impacts. Very comfortable ride. Okay, to raise the suspension, you press the magic button so the air suspension can raise your ride height. And it tells you, went away. Anyhow, it said road to ride height selected. Oh, here we go. Even though this Ram has excellent ground clearance, you still have to be careful when you're off-roading because this giant hood sometimes prevents you from seeing what's in front of you. And the vehicle width, which is very wide, sometimes prevents you from seeing what's beside you. Fortunately, you have an excellent camera system that shows what's going on outside, so while not a perfect solution, it will keep you from driving off the edge of a cliff. And the camera system certainly comes in handy when you have drop-offs like this on both sides of the road. And again, the diesel's ability to climb steep grades without working up a sweat works not only off-road as well as the pavement. That would be an interesting hill to climb, but I don't think so. Another feature I like are these power folding mirrors. Comes in handy when you're off-roading and don't want to crunch your mirror on a tree. Same thing over here. I haven't priced one of these, but I understand there's something like $1,500 to replace with labor. Ordinarily on these nasty washboarded roads, you'd have to slow down around 15 to 20 miles per hour on a conventional truck with a standard suspension, unless you wanted the vehicle to rattle apart. Here I'm doing 45 miles per hour, no problem, which once again shows how nice it is to have the optional air suspension. Smooth sailing all the way. The excellent suspension design combined with the power of this diesel engine helps you forget about the high $75,000 price tag. Well, unless you're the one paying for it, maybe. In this case, I'm not. In a conventional truck, it usually takes me around 47 minutes to get to this point. I made it in 37 minutes. Very impressive time on a very impressive truck. So what's my take on this Ram after racking up 700 miles in 1 week of driving? It's definitely one of the nicest full-size trucks I've ever driven. But then again, with $50,000 worth of options, I would certainly hope so. And while the gasoline V6 and gasoline 5.7 liter V8 are both nice engines, this 3.0 diesel outclasses them both by far. This diesel is definitely worth the extra coin. The only drawback, there doesn't seem to be very many of these diesel engines to go around, so they have a tendency to put them in expensive trucks like this. If you want a diesel at a lower price than what you're seeing here, get with your dealer and do some shopping. Maybe they can find one for you. Here's some links to other Chrysler diesels we've driven lately. Just click on the link and watch.